Julia everyone, I'm here once again with the 9th English, and what we'll be studying today is the fun they had. Okay, and student, I would like to clear you that with this chapter we have finished Unit 3 syllabus. Okay. Now, who wrote this? Who was the writer of this? The fun they had. This is Isaac Asimov. Okay, I told you many times for the student of 9th class to know some important points about the writer. That's very important, especially 9th class onwards. I'm repeating this again and again so that you may understand. Okay, now let's read about Isaac Asimov. He was born in 1920. His last 2 decades he focused on science fiction. He is believed to have edited or written more than 500 books, and he wrote a series called First Robot in 1950. It was a book about a set of ethics for robot and intelligent machine. And in 1977, his science fiction magazines began being published. He published 40 novels, 382 short stories, and 280 plus non-fiction books. And in 1977, he had a heart attack. And in 1983, he had triple bypass operation and he died on April 1992. Okay, so this was all about the Isaac Asimov who wrote this, The Fun They Had. Okay, now I'll be explaining you the important vocabulary from the same chapter. We'll start the meaning, explaining the vocabulary. Now the first word is scream. When you are very happy, how you are going to express your happy mood? That is, you are shouting, loudly. Okay, that is screaming. Slot, S-L-O-T, slot. Slot here means the place where you keep all the secret. Like for example, if you are submitting your homework through your pen drive and you are putting your pen drive into the laptop or computer, that place, that special particular place is known as the slot. Okay, and attic is a place, especially we found that attic on the roof. Just on the roof we can find a kind of storeroom, where we can keep items on that place. That is known as the attic. You can also say a store place. Awfully means ridiculous, with ridiculous. Okay, crinkle means if we keep a book for many months outside, okay, lying, not at all caring for that book, then that book will become what? Crinkly, like folded kind of, right? Okay, and telebook is a book in which you can keep all the records and which we can see on the monitor, right? Okay. And scornful is you can say disobedient. Okay, and the punch code is a computer code. Okay, and loftily you can say very tall, impressive. Mechanical teacher, a teacher who is teaching not like me but like a machine. A machine is teaching. Okay, if the machine is teaching, that is called a mechanical teacher. For example, we have a robot to teach. Now the next word is betcha. Betcha is a fast word. It's a slang for a betting. If someone is betting other one, जब हम शर्त लगाते हैं किसी अपने फ्रेंड्स को कि मैं तुझे अब मैं शर्त लगाता हूँ या लगाती हूँ बोलेंगे, that time it's the first word for the betcha, bet you, right? Okay, sigh, not willing to do something but you have to do it. That is sigh. Okay, not with a happy mood. Arithmetic is relating to the calculation. Okay, now we'll start the chapter. Now student, I'll be explaining you the chapter, and in this chapter what you are going to read it. The name of the chapter is, for example, The Fun They Had. Now we'll study the fun which they had. Okay, and for example, I paste some pictures here. This is a robotic teacher. I have not found any robot, so I just wrote it down, a robotic teacher. The teacher who teach, okay, just like us, that is the robotic teacher, the one who teach, that is the relating to the robot. And this is the computer. Computer is teaching in many places, okay. in developed countries especially. And this is just a keyboard and a mouse. Just clicking a mouse, we are learning a lot. Okay, this portion is a computer, learning through computers. Okay, and this is the virtual classroom. Virtual classroom means everything relating to a machine who teach us. Okay, that is a virtual classroom, and this is again a student is learning from a computer. We can also say a virtual classroom. Okay, now I'll start explaining from the book. You please take out page number 29. Okay, and that is your chapter number 5 and page number 9. Okay. Okay, now I'll read it. Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary on the page headed 17th May 2157. So here I will show you the date. So Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. That means there is a girl who is known as a Margie. Okay, Margie is every day she is keeping a diary, and in her diary on the page, on one page, headed like 17th May 2157. And what is the age? What is the year right now? That is 2020. If we deduct 7, 3, and 1, that means 137 years after. Okay, this is the chapter. Okay, now she wrote, today Tommy found a real book. This time Margie and Tommy, they are brother sister, and they don't have any teachers like me. Okay, they don't have any teachers the way you have at your school, and this is after 137 years in this century, right? Thus, how our school gonna be in future? How you are going to study? This writer has mentioned like this is the year of technology that's very improving very fast. We are learning a lot from mobile, from computers. For example, these days you don't have school due to that terrible disease, coronavirus, and you are learning from your mobile. Okay, mobile is your teacher these days, right? Like the way you are learning right now, and they are discussing. Okay, and they wrote it that today Tommy found a real book. Real book means this is a real book for them. Okay, it was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. So this story is very much confusion. Okay, this is an imagination school after 137 years. Okay, after today, how our school gonna be? And they are writing. We are reading the diary. First 2-3 paragraph. We are going to read the diary portion. Okay, so don't get confused. Okay, now Margie's grandfather, when he was a child, Margie's grandfather, when he was a child, he was told, by his grandfather. That means 4 generations here. Margie's father's father and their father's father. Okay, so that means 4 generations. And grandfather once told him, Margie's grandfather, that all the readable, all the schools are taught with a printing book. From the printing book we are learning. So they turned the page. They means Margie and Tommy, which were yellow and crinkly. Yellow means if the book have found after so many years, how the book gonna be? It become a yellowish. Okay, faded all the colors, so it become yellow. And crinkly means folded one. Okay, folded, very crinkly, very wrinkled. You can say very wrinkled. And it was awfully funny to read words. Awfully funny means ridiculous, not willing to read. Okay, very funny kind of. To read word that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to. On a screen, and then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same word on it and it had, when they read it for the first time. For example, when we are reading, when we read any chapter, for example, you are reading any chapter from your teacher at school, we'll be stick on the same pages for 2 or 3 pages. To complete one chapter, it will take 3-4 days. Okay, and they are just becoming excited, surprised to know that the school, from that book, they are stick on the same page for many days. And for example, if you are learning from a computer, if you pause a little bit and we start talking to each other, then letters become moving from top to bottom, from side to side, from bottom to top. Letters are moving, okay? And they are very, excited. They wonder that the page will be stood still. Stood still means remain same, on the same page, right? Gee, said Tommy, what a waste. He said, what a waste. Okay, when you're through with your book, you just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had 1 million books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. And he is saying that when you finish one book, you are just throwing that book away somewhere. Okay, and in my computers, I'm not throwing away. When I finish reading, then some other, books are, we are installing in it. Okay. Same with mine, said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. Okay, here it's telling us the ages of both the girl and boy, right? The girl who was known as the Margie, she was 11 years old, and the Tommy, okay, her brother, he is 13 years old. Okay, and and she said, "Where did you find it?" "In my house," he pointed without looking, because she was busy reading in the attic. In the attic. Okay, now they are asking, where did you find that book? And then he said, Tommy said, he pointed without looking. He just pointed like this, okay, because he was busy in reading. So he said, in the attic. Attic, you know it now. On the roof, where we can store our items, okay, just like a storeroom. That is what attic. And what's it about? School. Margie was scornful. School? What's there to write about school? I hate school. So this sentence, it looks like Margie don't like school at all. So Marcy looks disobedient, and what's there to write about school? Okay, what's there to write about school? What is there about school? Now you turn the page number 30. Margie always hated school, but now she had it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and then sent for the county inspector. So there is a mechanical teacher, the teacher who teach, that is a machine, okay, not like me. And that mechanical teacher had been giving test after test in geography subject, and she was doing worse and worse, okay. And then her mother become tense, she heard sorrowfully, and then she was sent to the county inspector. Now, who is the county inspector? The county inspector is just like a doctor for the robot, who can repair it, who can fix it again, okay. Who checked the robot or computers, machines and all. So he was a round little man with a red face and whole box of tools with dials and wire. He was carrying a box which is full of wire. Okay, he was a rounded little man. That means fatty, kind of, and he was kind of obese with a red face and carrying a box of wire and dials. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple. Then took the teachers apart. Okay, now he gave a smile to the Margie, and then he gave an apple, and then took the teachers apart, and that means took that mechanical teacher who is the robot to somewhere else. Okay, apart. And Margie had hope. He wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how to write it. Then after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and early, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Margie hate most was the slot, where she had to put homework and test paper. She always had to write them out in the punch code that made her learn when she was 6 years old. And the mechanical teacher calculated the marks in no time. That means, now Margie, she was thinking that mechanical teacher, her teacher will be, it will take time. But within 1 hour, that county inspector repaired it, they fixed it. Okay, they did. He fixed it just like before. And there was again large in size, black in color, and that ugly, for the Margie, with a big screen where all the lessons were shown and questions were asked. Again, there was a big screen, and the questions start asking. That means that machine was ready to function in. Okay, and that wasn't so bad. And the part Margie which hate the most, that is the slot portion, where she have to submit all the assignment, assessment, okay? She have to submit all the home task, okay? To that portion, that is the slot. Slot portion Margie disliked the most. She always had to write then in the punch code, because, there is a punch code. That means some computer code, for example, in uppercase or lowercase letters, she have to submit it there with a punch code. Okay, and punch code she was learned when she was only 6 years old. From that time, she know how to do the punch code, how to submit it with the help of that punch code. Okay, and the mechanical teacher calculate the marks in no time. Within no time, within a second. Okay, that teacher was calculated all the marks. Okay. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. And the inspector, did finish all that repairing and fixation. He completed, and then he patted Margie's head. Patted means when the teachers, you are doing a good job, and teachers is doing like this. This is patted, okay? Okay. He said to the mother, "It's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. John. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I have slowed it up to an average 10 years level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory." And he patted Margie's head again. So, that county inspector, he gave a smile to the Margie, and then he patted again. And then he told, her mother, Margie's mother, who was known as the Mrs. John. And he told that geography sector was geared up. Gear up means to take level to the different level, okay, leveling. If the child is in 5th class, the 5th level section should be fixed in that machine. And the geography sector was geared up. So now he fixed it, and he did average 10 years level. Okay, and then overall pattern of her progress is quite sad. And then he is telling to her mother that her performance is now quite satisfactory. Is good. She is good. And he patted Margie's head again. And then he started patted again to the Margie. Okay, so here I will stop. I'll continue in my next session. Thank you.